Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hope you're able to hear me.
Good morning, Shri.
Good morning, Shri.
Great. Great. Good to see on a fresh Sunday morning. Okay. So how was the day on Saturday? Is there anything productively happened? You were able to touch something on the books? Any results on the side? Let me see a chat window. Good. Okay, no response. So I found a way to start the writing habits. By the way, thanks for the people who started writing. Was it good when you write these principles, manifesto? Were you able to do that in a few minutes of time? How much of time generally it's taking for you to write now? Who took effort to write yesterday? What have you given in the WhatsApp group? Okay, I'm seeing a chat window. It took 10 minutes, approximately 10 minutes. Okay, for Jyoti, it took 20 minutes. Yeah, of course, it'll take, when you try for the first time, definitely take a little extra time. But after you writing it, did you feel that some sort of connection, some sort of understanding, at least a couple of terms? Are you able to see that?
Yeah, I can relate to the examples and I can understand the concept of that while writing.
Perfect, perfect. Thanks for doing that. Gangadhar says it takes around 15 minutes. See, the point here is it's not about memorizing the concepts. It's about getting a feel of it, right? I know it's not a so complicated sentence even there. It is a normal English, which makes it understand how we can help out the customer. So that's what we are trying on the 4 and the 12. 4 we spoken of yesterday. 12 we have to talk today and a little more content to connect, right? Anyway, thanks for the people who started writing. If you're not started writing, kindly kickstart it. It's going to help us a lot, right? Good. If anybody ready for the morning, let's see each other and say hi. If you're not ready, let's start. Okay, who are coming on the camp today to say hi? Morning, guys. I'm not ready, Shriram. It's okay. Let's see a few of them who are ready. Okay, who's coming? I don't see anybody on the camp today. Oop. Not ready. Chinmay is ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Hey,
Oh,
good morning,
thanks.
Shri. How are you?
I'm good. Fantastic. See, sometimes I want to see the people because I feel like I'm talking to a wall, right? I have nothing to see in front of me.
Morning,
If I
sir.
don't see you all. Hey, Mahendra. But hey, Mahendra, there are a lot of books behind you, files, office files.
Nothing. It's my son's books.
It's bigger than your office files, huh?
Yeah.
At least in my school days, I see my father used to bring a lot of files. Okay, big files. That's how they carry, right? And they have a briefcase where they have all these files to come and see at home. That days, I don't know that it's called work from home. Okay, we used to on Saturday and Sunday cover up a lot of files. Now we have all files in the computer.
Right.
Nobody knows what it is. Okay, very good, great. At least I can see a couple of them. Now I'm happy that I'm in front of people.
I'm
Thanks
sorry.
a lot.
I have to rename myself because it was used by my son. So I will rename it.
No problem, no problem. It's okay, no problem. Great. I believe we have started well in the first day. Again, as I was talking about the writing habits, let us keep up this writing habit going forward for some time because it's keep good amount of learning, which is very, very important. Now, why I tell that is, I generally talk about setting goal and moving forward. It's not about this certification. The general habit of writing is very important because when you write, the plan gets better. When you read the books of most winning people, they start the morning really well. When they say morning, they start with good exercise, good reading habits, getting some motivational content. From there, they kickstart it. Do anybody here have a habit of starting the morning with exercise? Anybody here with saying that, I'll start the day with exercise? Let me see a chat window. Few minutes of exercise, breathing exercise, at least a walk, at
Yeah,
least
some
stretch.
as you told, I started 10 minutes of meditation every day.
Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. That's good. Okay, okay. I'm seeing pin drop silence from some of them. Maybe wait to start, or maybe they are meditation now. Yeah, Kankada says yoga. Okay, very good. Good things about the big winning people is they have a time of exercise. Yeah, Vaishnavi is saying you go for a walk. Kindly start a day with a little bit of exercise. When I say exercise, doesn't mean you have to hit a gym and you have to put a heavy weights and do exercise. That's not the only way. There are a lot of ways of just a stretch, just a walk, because this activates your brain cells, which got stuck for last 8 9 hours where we slept and we came back, right? This activation is very much needed for our brain to get more energy and more what to say flow of information things. So as you do exercise, your brain starts thinking more. So do that the first one. The second one is write down certain goal for yourself. In the sense of goal, I say next 6 months, what's going to be happening? Next 1 year, what are the plans I have? When I say plans, doesn't mean always you have to write telling that this is the money I want to earn. Okay, money can be one point of it. Beyond that, there should be some systematic approach. What role I'm looking in my family, what I'm going to do for my family, what I'm going to do for the society, what I'm going to do for myself as a corporate person. So writing these goals are very vital, which generally set a track. That's one of the reason I make you to write, because when you write these kind of agile principles, other things at one time, your pencil and paper will not keep quiet. You want to try something about yourself. There is a good thing talks about top achieving people. When I say top achieving, some CEOs, saints, and great people in society, they have a habit of having a paper and writing down, telling what all they see. So they say that visualization, or they call it idealization, where you start thinking of big things in life, right? They put in a system on place. So that helps them to be in track. So kindly start writing, because that's going to help you a lot. With this, let's get inside the system. And yesterday we kick-started with agility. We'll start a little more inside. Okay, post break, I'm going to call out all. I wish everybody should at least say hi to see face-to-face communication once. Yeah, so be prepared. I know in the morning you look not prepared, but get ready by next break. Right, because face-to-face communication is becoming very important. That when you're learning Agile, face-to-face is very important. Right, let's move. I'm bringing up the slides for agility. Before that, I'll give a small hint about a video which talks about what is Agile all about. Right? You'll see that video in Kickstart. Okay. Yeah, here it goes. Let's watch this video. So Kickstart the morning. Observe this video, what they're talking about the 4 and 12 principles. Okay.
Back in the 90s, IT projects were managed by the waterfall methodology, where the executed tasks cascaded from analyzing the requirements to designing, implementing, testing, and rollout. Although the approach was exceedingly structured and organized, clients were not satisfied. In fact, what was happening was that most parts of the projects were out of budget, time, scope, and quality, and clients were dissatisfied. Even when projects were on time, within budget and scope, and of good quality, clients were still unsatisfied. But why? Simply because what they asked for was not necessarily what they really needed. That was the case until some software practitioners created a set of alternative approaches. 17 of those individuals decided to gather in November 2001 in a ski resort in Utah, US, where they came up with the Agile Manifesto, a new mindset focusing on 4 values and 12 principles rather than on a predefined blueprint. These values are 1. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. 2. Working software over comprehensive documentation. 3. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. 4. Responding to change over following a plan. And the principles are about customer satisfaction, embracing changes, speed delivery, collaboration, empowerment, effective communication, good metrics, steadiness, operational excellence, simplicity, self-organization, continuous improvements. Today, thanks to the 17 innovative visionaries, we can, through adopting the Agile mindset, embrace changes to improve performance and reach client satisfaction. Thank you.
Okay, when you watch out this video, probably you'll get an idea in the sense of why they thought about it to bring up this powerful manifesto and 12 principles. It is not something which is a groundbreaking stuff by the time. It was a long discussion that we have to bring something new which can make people to feel comfortable to do the work, right? So put yourself in a speaker view so that you can see the board. If you see the board, I can give some more details about it. Hope the board is visible. You're able to see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, if you watch out, we'll call it as Agile number law. Now, let me draw something. Okay. Okay. Kind of umbrella. Okay, it's not a real umbrella. Okay, let's see that. Let me put in speaker view. If you watch out here, the 4 manifesto of Agile and 12 principles, right? This was written in the year 2001, aiming to satisfy the customer. Kind of thing, they want to give the customer the results. It's not only about the customer, it is about the team which is doing the work. So they focus on the team also. So they give importance to primarily people. People is given highest focus, right? Even though we want the customer to get the outcome, we also start working on the team, how to keep them engaged. Because US alone is spending huge amount of money to keep the people engaged. Many leadership team or many managerial track team has a big problem of keeping the team engaged. What do you mean by engaged? When you say engaged, there is no commitment with the resources to do certain tasks. There is no happiness in the work what they do. When they don't have a happiness, when they don't have a commitment, what will happen is the quality starts dropping down. So only when you have a commitment, do a good job, right? Like what your mom does. Your mom prepare a food. If she don't like that day, the food doesn't come up. She sometimes tells that I'm not in a good mood to prepare a food. It doesn't come up well. But when you're in a good mood, the food comes up well, right? It's a pure engagement of what to do for the family. I have many times seen that some relatives visit my home. My mom start preparing early in the morning, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, we start preparing. With a lot of joy that a lot of people coming in, let us do a good job. That day it will be so, so grateful. You'll be surprised. Wow, that's a great food, mom. Reason is a kind of commitment. Now, this commitment is lagging a lot in the industry for so many years. And this Agile is kind of trying to address the employee engagement and also giving quality output to the customer. How do they do that? They written something called 4 Manifesto and 12 Principles, which I shared in the WhatsApp already. It talks about the basics. And I said basics, it's all about how to stay connected with the people, how to improve the way we deliver. Now, when this was written in 2001, in this umbrella, we have something called a Scrum, which is following this 4 and 12, they have a method of implementation, how to do that. Now, deriving this written as a Scrum, and you have something called XP. It stands for Extreme Programming. Then we have something called Kanban. Then we have something called Lean. Then we have something called Crystal. It goes on. Around nearly a 12 or 13 methodologies are there in the market. But primarily, we always, or most of the time, talk about Scrum, which is more than 57% of the companies in the world is using Scrum. Now, also there is a thought, will this be only for our IT industry? Of course, IT plays a major role. But now what happened is there's a 4 manifesto and 12 principle has become a normal trend in any industry. When I say any industry, it could be an industry from a manufacturing. It could be for a construction. It could be for a service segment. Now, what they're trying to do, they are trying to see how better we can give the quality to the customer at the earliest time, for which I don't expect somebody should be from the IT industry alone. It can be any industry who can serve it. Now, how we can implement it? Let's see a few slides to get some idea today. That's going to be our first chapter. All right, let's jump inside. Right, Gautam, good morning. Good to see you. Right, I can see people joining in. I know it's a pretty early morning. It's not easy. It's not easy. Let's go. Okay, we touched on the basics. I believe you are comfortable with the basics of examination, application details, right? Okay, we saw this 4 manifesto, which talks that we played a small game. Now let's understand 12 principles. We'll start from here, right? A lot of theoretical content going to come here. You may feel, oh my goodness, a lot of information. But again, these are the 12 principles you have at least tried to write once. Now look at this image. In this image, you will see good amount of content, and each one has a meaning for it. Now, the first one, when you see on the topmost left, you will see satisfy the customer. Satisfying the customer is the mindset in the business, right? It is not something new. A startup company always thinks that. A small company which want to achieve the market, they all have this, the aim of satisfying the customer. Whatever the customer asks, they try to deliver it. They want to give. But what happens is, as a company grows bigger with a more number of people and more of a process in place, customer gets a backseat, whereas the process and the way we do starts beating us. Now, that's the reason many company fails. But certain companies, which you call as a fortune companies or the top companies in the world, they keep always a customer at the front line. Whatever happens, they try to make it best for them, right? And this mindset is very important. If you watch over these 12 items, all these 12 items are trying to set something for you in the mind, telling that, hey, this is more important. Even though you have other focus area, give importance to this. For example, before I am telling something, I would ask you to find out in this 12, where you find something about communication. Can you check out and tell me the number? Let's see how good you observe.
Number 6,
Number 6. So number 6, what it's saying?
face-to-face conversation.
Face-to-face conversation. Okay, very
Two-way
good.
of communication.
Okay, two-way communication. Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Mahendra. The point is, what he said is right, 6 to 1. The 6th one, if you read the principal book, it will tell that the most efficient and effective way of conveying information to and within the team is face-to-face conversation. If you read the full sentence there, it says the best efficient way of conveying information to and within the team. It's a face-to-face. Now, this is not pretty new in this world, right? We know this for a long time. Even though you write an email or send a phone call to your parents or someone, but when you meet them in person, the meaning is different. The way you connect is different. This is not something very new to us, but in the industry of management in the year 2002 or 1 or before the 1980s and 1990s, it has started becoming that a hierarchical way of approach. In the hierarchical way of approach, what happened is more than a team talking to each other, there'll be one person driving the show, giving the details to the team, and team has to do that. This is a hierarchy format they followed. And this has to be broken up. So they came out with an idea telling that have a face-to-face conversation within the team. So what it means is the team has to connect consistently to give a quality output. Now this point is derived from XP. XP is one of the methods I said extreme programming, right? Now, as I said here, these are the methods available from 1990s. These principles are written down in the 2001. So from the method, they took, pick, choose good one, and they put into one group of principles. That's what I'm seeing here, right? And let's talk about one more thing. Let's listen to you. Here, there is one point which talks about a retrospective, that is, which you do in your sprints. There is something about retrospective. Can you choose which one is that? Read out.
3.
Sorry?
3.
3. Deliver frequently.
Yes.
Deliver frequently, it's going to be give more incremental results to the customer, right? Good. That's a good point of deliver frequently. But
I should repeat number 12.
number 12. Perfect. Perfect. If you see number 12, reflect and adjust. In the principle, it says that a good team frequently meet and talk about the best things, what they can do, what they can improve. That's a 12th principle. Okay, if you see that 12th principle. This is derived from, again, extreme programming. We have something called feedback. There is something called feedback. Now they took this feedback where there should be feedback system within the team to improve. Who will come to give the feedback? They thought that when a hierarchy or the top-down approach come and give the feedback, at times works, at times it doesn't work. Why? When you work in the manufacturing industry or when you work in the industrial revolution time, it was that one subject matter expert drive the whole team. Subject matter expert later turned to a project manager or a program manager. That was good for certain industries. But when you work in a knowledge-based industry, when I say knowledge-based industry, here, who knows knowledge becomes a super. Now, in this knowledge-based industry, there is no hierarchy going to work. Now, what they say is, instead of somebody is coming and giving you feedback, and you feel somebody is trying to force on you, when the team themselves start talking to each other and getting the inputs, what is good, what can be improved, the level of learning is much faster. So that's where the last point goes to reflect and adjust. Pretty good. I appreciate that. Now I'll take a point 3, deliver frequently. Now, this is a very interesting milestone change on those days of 2001, because those days it was thought that whenever a work is being given, it should be completely done in a sense 100% and then hand over to the customer. Now, this thought process was good for certain industry, but when it came to IT or information technology or service industry, like what we do here, right? Services, what we do is a service industry. I may not tell that I'll deliver everything the last day. I have to do interim deliverables. So interim deliverables of a packets releasing or giving small chunk of release to the customer makes customer connected and active. Now I have been to certain places, could be a service segment, could be a restaurant, could be meeting some people in a different place. There'll be a frequent connection. Somebody come and tell you, can you wait for another 5 minutes? We are just processing your application. It will take another 5-6 minutes. Or they'll tell you your token number is 4. You may get called in another 5 minutes. Some sort of connection with the customer, some sort of information to them that a delivery is happening, that makes them feel connected rather keeping them wait for next half an hour, next 1 year. Doesn't make sense, right? That's one thing. Now, okay, there is one point in this list which talks about exclusions. When I say exclusions in project, we don't want to we don't want to do all the work which the customer is going to say or all the work which is there. Rather, focus on what is important. For that, there is one point. Can you please search and find out?
Number 10.
Number
Number
9,
10.
continuous attention.
10.
9.
So, and competing. Let me see the voting in the chat window. So, how many of you telling 10? Give me the voting in the chat window. Let's see. Chinmay says 10, Bhuvan says 10, 3, 4 people gave voting, 5 people gave voting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, high voting went to, okay, 2 votes for 9. Okay. Okay. Now, yesterday I gave a sheet for all these 12 principles. Can you go and read the principle 10? Take a sheet. What have you written yesterday? Can you take the sheet? Okay, for the simplicity, now I brought a little more extended content. Now see the point number 10 and point number 9. Just make a comparison. Okay, now my question is, there is one point in this written in the 2001 says that, hey, don't do too much. Focus on the work, what is needed. And this is coming back from the project management industry called as exclusions. Remove the part which is not needed. So I'll go with the majority vote here. The majority vote goes with the 10. So what you said is right. Simplicity. Maximizing amount of work not done is essential. Now there's a big question in this topic. Shriram, you mean we should not do the work? That's a beautiful question. Again, this principle is a picked from XP. XP is extreme programming. Now many of you will get surprised. Oh my goodness, look like Agile is more from XP. Yes, XP is one of the best system in the world, and from there only many things got derived. XP came from 1993 just because of one person in one company. He found out, let's utilize it. XP is a very, very strong system. Scrum is good, but more than a Scrum, XP is so powerful. XP and Scrum combined together only, we are doing agility now. Okay, so whatever you see here will be most derived from XP and Scrum. Okay, let's look at this one. This point number 10 talks about simplicity. What in XP and in here they talk here is simplicity. Maximize the amount of work not done. So what it means? As I believe it was spoken sometime back yesterday, it book says that more than nearly 60% of the features what we get, we don't use. It may be any technology, or it may be your car, it may be your refrigerator, it may be washing machine, right? I remember my mom wanted a washing machine which will do warm water brushing, and it does the cool down, it does dry the cloth, lot of features. Okay, we put a huge money and buy some big machine where I can sit inside and get washed. Okay, that a big machine will buy. Now end of day, what they use? Just one button start and a minimal usage. So even though a washing machine has a lot of feature there, I always see they use one or two feature. How many of you agree that is how it's happening at your home? Do anybody agree with me? You see only one feature or two feature of any washing machine is being used?
Yes.
If you feel that way, we are using even for the refrigerator. I remember in my home, they've got a big refrigerator where we can go inside and come out. The double door stuff, all the stuff. Very expensive. What to do? There's a wish they want to do that. Okay, this is a wish you have to give back to your family, right? Now, that too has a lot of button system, all the system. But at the end of the day, what they use? They keep a milk packet inside or a curd inside. That's how it will be there. For this reason, I don't think you have to keep such a huge one. Now, point here is the features, whatever the market is giving, people use hardly 25 to 30%. The rest are parked. They want to see, but they don't use it. This is on the hard products I'm telling. Even in service segment, majority of things are not being used. Now, why and what XP is looking into is focus and conceive the important thing what customer can use right now, and start designing for that and start working on that so that you can give early delivery rather thinking so big and the delivery doesn't go out. It doesn't mean to stop doing the work. They mean that think and conceptualize which can give value to customer at the earliest time. So make it simple. Make it simple, right? That's a point XP brought out. That's been adopted into Agile Principle, and it is highly appreciated. Now, many industry are going for this. Take the simplest one and give it. This is a reason startup companies are succeeding in the market today, where big companies cannot do. Why? Big companies have a brand. Whenever they want to release something, they want to release with the best features of all covering society. Generalized solution. It's called generalized solution. Now the startup companies and small companies, they don't have a commitment to serve all the people. So they go with a specific solution. What is specific solution? They target right set of age and people, sometimes we call as persona, and deliver exactly what they want. And that segment of people alone using will cover up the market, because now we are living in a 7.5 billion population. Now, whatever model we prepared 100 years back, that was not for 7.5 billion, maybe 5 billion, maybe 3 billion population, right? You have to think the proportion of the population what we are living. If I want to target age group between 22 to 27, that may itself be at least 2 billion. I'm just giving a number, random number. So now the market is very specific on this part. And this was written in the year 2001. Focus exactly what is expected, not beyond that. I like it. It makes sense for me, right? This we do in PMP also. We call something called exclusions. We remove which are things not needed. Do anybody remember in PMP we've seen exclusions? Anywhere? If anybody with the PMP book remember it, in some place we have something called exclusion. If you remember it, let me know which area you've seen that. Shriram, I'm done with PMP, man. Please don't trouble me. Okay, any chance? Anybody have memory?
Somewhere from scope creep, Shri, and gold platings.
You're closer, you're closer. Gautam says scope, Yashwant says scope. Okay, somewhere closer you people are. Okay. If you want to go a little more specific, there is a place called define scope.
Fine.
In define scope, you prepare something called scope statement. When you create a scope statement, scope is nothing but requirement. When you do a requirement, you do two things very primary: acceptance criteria and exclusions. We will say what will be done, what will be acceptance. Another one will tell what is exclusions. For this, I will not tell IT industry. Any industry needs this. Any work, I want to know two things. On what basis customer will accept when I complete the work? What all the work I don't want to do that? I'll tell you, just by understanding what all work don't need to do, save a lot of energy. We spend more energy in unwanted work than on wanted work, right? That's very important focus. Very good. You got some key points here. Thanks for the answers. Let me pull one more thought process for you. Since many of you, a couple of them said point number 9. Now let's understand what could be point number 9. Now read the English sentence there. Does it give any meaning for you? What it could be? Point number 9. Any thoughts coming up?
Quality.
Risk.
Quality. But quality is an output, right?
Okay.
Risk.
Risk. Okay, read the sentence once more.
Design.
Design. Somebody's coming closer. Okay, go further more. Go further more.
Architect.
Architect.
Obtain and build.
Sorry?
Obtain and build.
Validation.
Obtaining
Validation. I think two of them went well. Design, architect. Now let's use these two words. Now with these two words, start thinking with this point. What you're trying to say.
Technical excellence.
I mean, like keep on, revamping your design until unless it achieves the desired mark.
Fantastic. Yashwant got it. Perfect. That's the right sentence I want to get. Now, Yashwant, can you repeat again?
Keep on changing your, design until unless it achieves the desired quality or excellence. Like if you find it.
Perfect. More than you use the word change. More than a change, I'll tell tuning. Okay. Change is too much of direction. People lose a track. Tuning. Now, continuous attention to technical excellence is something on the architect, on the design. Okay. Shriram, that's fine when architect design is there. What do you mean by technical excellence? It means that as a team, there should be always something called sharpen your saw. If you read the book of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, anybody here who read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? If not read, please read the book. Amazing book. It talks about 7 great habits of great winning people. Very simple habits. It's in Google also. Google and read it. In that, the 7th habit is sharpen your saw. The sharpen your saw is nothing but upskilling themselves so that they can succeed in the life. That concept is nothing but continuous attention. What is continuous attention? If your team have to deliver quality output regularly, they cannot just like that work two weeks in a sprint or something. That alone will not help them. They have to upskill themselves. And also they should improve the quality of the output. So the design architect should be good. If design architect should be good, what you have to do is we should have the technical excellence thought process. So continuous attention to technical excellence and the work what we do and also technical expertise improvement will help a team to deliver quality output. I feel 9th point is a very crucial point to understand that learning is very important and showing focus on quality output comes only through technical excellence, right? I think first somebody started with the quality output. I agree. How you get the quality output? Only when you have a technical excellence. When I say technical excellence, we should not think on a technology. Hey, Shriram, is it for technology? No. If I am in service industry, there are certain technical excellence. Some of the big star hotels, when I go, the way they receive me, the way they talk to me, the way they make me to sit in a place and keep an observation on me, it's a pure technical excellence. They know how to attend me. The attending part is a technical excellence. I've seen, I don't remember the Holiday Inn or some hotels I went there. Of course, there could be some mistake from my side. I don't have a proper letter with me. I don't have a proper detail with me. Still, with a smiling face, they attend me and ask me to sit in a place. They won't leave me remote. Quickly, there is a lady who comes with a warm water and shares with me, sir, there is a water for you. Can you take it on? You want to take it on? So how can I help you? They keep me engaged when I'm sitting there for 15 minutes. And they show a smiling face. They come back to me, talk to me, make me understand. And this is a technical factors. You call it as a service. Under the service, there is a layer called technical factors. You learn it, how to tune this area. Now I put this in a technology, what we do, we have a software, we have a hardware, we have a technology. How do you tune it so that the waiting time get reduced and you can give a better output, right? So I want to see you with a little more focused lens here, what you're trying to say here. Very good. Last one will hit. There is something here in this whole system talks that there is no top-down approach. It's all power of people. Something is here. See that? Check out and find them. It's not about top-down approach.
Number 11.
Pradeepa, quick, huh?
Yeah.
She's very fast. Okay, how many of you agree? Number 11 is right. Is there any other points you see in eyes? Vaishnavi says 11. Okay. Sekyapan says 11. Okay. And makes a better sense, right? There is no top-down approach. By the way, did anybody watch the movie The Bug Life? There is an animated cartoon movie, Bug Life, which talks about ant. Go and watch it. It's a pretty good movie. It shows how the ant life lives. Okay. Okay. Coming back on team self-organizing. This is a new thought. Not now. Today we are grown up with the thought of equivalent thought process. I'm talking in the year 1990 and 2001. By the way, why I'm keep referring that year is these all written 25 years back or 20 years back. Now, by the time, there is always this a top-down approach. I know some of you in this room agree, Shriram, still we have the top-down approach, man. Yeah, it is there, but it's reduced than what we had 25 years back. In those days, the top-down approach is very high. I'm not saying it's bad. It was good in the industrial revolution. Why? Because I used the word SME sometime back. The subject matter expert who knows everything can help people to do the work, not commanding, help people, okay? That's how the leadership thing came in. But what happened is the leadership slowly turned into manager, beating people to do the work, right? And in the 1980s and 1990s, Peter Drucker, the great management guru, written a book talking about knowledge workers. He used the term that in 2000 and 2030, 2050, coming years, the world will be ruled by knowledge workers. When I say knowledge workers, the male-female discrimination will go off. The physically challenged or those discrimination will go off. Who has a brain will rule the world. That's it. Simple. Okay. So the knowledge worker revolution started in the year 2000, 1980, 1990, 2000. Now I'll come to the point here. When you say knowledge workers, you cannot command and control knowledge workers. In this team, somebody will agree with me, Shriram, life has changed. Early days, I see the junior resources will be so respectful. Nowadays, they don't even bother. The way they behave is different. Do anybody observe that kind of behavior with the junior resources? Anybody in this room? A different behavior, different character, the way they behave. Or sometimes they say that, okay, yeah, Shriram, they are slightly different than what we were. We were so respectful to management. These days, this guy's not respectful. Okay. If you start thinking that we are living in a knowledge revolution. Now, what happened is when the knowledge workers come into the industry, the top-down approach gone. Now, only a team which is self-organizing, who has the skills at the same time, who has the ability to work with other team members, peer resources, succeeding is going to happen. Take any cricket team in India. In cricket team, at least 4 or 5 people are star players. Each one individually great stars. But they don't like a top-down approach. They want to be a self-organizing. They take their role, they have to play the role. The match or the tournament where they don't take the role, they don't take the responsibility, the tournament fails. Many times we observe it. As a newspaper or a normal person, we look at this, oh my God, somebody lost it. But actually, when you do root analysis, it will be that team did not self-organize. Now, for a knowledge-based project or a service industry, we are expecting team to be self-organizing. The beauty of self-organizing is there is no command and control where the team understands what they have to do, but there is a lock here. If you don't have somebody to guide them, we'll be in trouble. So instead of command and control, they bring somebody called facilitator. They bring somebody called guiding person. That is what you are going to play the role, called as Agile Leaders. When you say Agile Leader, sometimes you can become a Scrum Master, sometimes you may become a product owner, or you can be an Agile Project Manager, Agile Program Manager, where you will guide the team rather command and control. This took some years for me to understand. Now I have a bunch of teams working with me in my corporate life. I don't interfere into their local decisions. On the longevity decisions or a big decision, I will get inside. If not, most of the time, I just allow them to do their best to do the work. That makes them to be happy. When you do the friendly work, it goes well. Or any human resource related problem, any business problem, we have to go step in, try to help them. If not, they will do their own work. That's what self-organizing teams. Okay, pretty good. That's a good observation you all did. Let's a little bit move on the questions. Okay, by the way, what you see now is a 12 principles. I didn't drill everything. Key things I drilled it. Anyway, I'll bring it regularly in the classes, one by one. Okay, take a question here. Okay. According to Agile principles, one of the below is a primary mission. So answer is coming pretty fast. I think you all written it well already. Working software is a primary measure of progress. So Shriram, there is a secondary measure. Yeah, it is there. You can see a burn down chart, burn up chart. You can see some of the status reports. That's also there. I'm not saying no. So you have to be very careful. It's not always working, right? You can show some documents also. It's there. But primary thing is I help to show that something workable, usable one. Okay. Let's see some of the agile methods. I think I tried to draw this in the board. My umbrella looked a little bad. Right. So now let's go. So there are a few methodologies here, right? I was telling her under the umbrella, bunch of methodologies. So your eyes may be jumping into multiple colors here. In that, the biggest color what you have to see is maroon or red, or what you call it, 58%. Now, it could be 60 or it could be 45, differs by year. But keep in mind, majority goes with Scrum. Scrum is one of the methodology under this umbrella. And also, you see certain combinations here. Look at this and tell me which, do you see any hybrid model here? Under the umbrella of Agile, do you see any hybrid?
Scrum and XP.
10%.
Custom hybrid multiple methodologies.
It's a Scrum Ban is the hybrid.
Scrum.
Do you see Scrum Bun? Scrum Bun. Scrum Bun is pretty famous. Okay.
It's a Scrum and Kanban.
Scrum and Kanban. Okay, very good. Other any other hybrid you see very famous hybrid?
Scrum and XP.
Sorry, Jyoti.
XP and Scrum.
Fantastic. Jyoti got it. XP and Scrum. I know somebody here is Scaled Agile Framework certified. Who is that? Jessica, and you?
Yeah, yes.
Jessica, have you seen that XP and Scrum highly discussed in a Scaled Agile? Not much. Okay. Okay. If not, I'll let you know that in a Scaled Agile Framework, which is a trending certification in the market, in SAFe, they primarily focus three things. One is a Scrum, one is XP, other one is Kanban. These three will be highly focused because these three methods are the methods which is driving any industry. It is not only for IT, any industry you can use it. Okay, it's slightly needed to understand how it works. So you can see some methods here, right? You can see DSDM, FBD. These are lightweight, not used much. Iterative, Kanban. Okay, fine, good. So now point here is, you should not think that only one method available in the market. You should know that there are a lot of methods here. Now, what best suits you, you have to pick it up. Shyam, how do I know that? Only by practicing you'll come to know. Can I know on the first day? I'll say, no, you cannot. As a human being, you cannot. But you have to read the books. But so easiest thing is, all these are very easy to learn. If you come from the management industry, reading big books, these all will be 10 pages, 3 pages. Scrum article released in 2017. They made an updated release. Only 19 pages. 19 pages, one process learning. I don't think it's like much time. Hardly 40 minutes you can read the 19 pages. That's certainly. If you go to XP, hardly few principles. If you go to Kanban, nothing is there to read. It's a very simple method. These all easy to read, hard to implement. Why? Because it has its own simplicity. Simplicity, easily people miss it. Okay, hard way people learn it harder. That's how it works. So, but how to do this? Let's see those factors. Now, what you understood is there is an umbrella. We'll go back. I'll go back to show that there is an umbrella to show that, hey, these many methodologies are there. And as an umbrella, under the umbrella of Agile. When I say Agile, we have 4 manifesto and 12 principles. Well, good. Let's step in a little more. One point here is in ACP exam. Okay, don't go with the mindset of CSM exam. CSM is about Scrum. I know a couple of them are here Scrum certified. If you go only with the Scrum and mindset, chances are exam will be slightly difficult for you because you're going to talk all the methods. That's a point. Okay, there is a question here. You can look back your sheet where you written the 4 manifesto in a paper. Okay. Manifesto principle. They're using the word 4 manifesto, and along with that, supported by 12 principles. So you have principles, right? Let's go one by one. Working software is a primary measure of progress. Okay. Working software is a primary measure of progress. That's good. But the question is asking team empowerment. How do you focus on the team? Welcome changing requirements even late in development. This also talks about deliverable. Simplicity, the art of maximizing amount of work not done. This is also about the work. Build a project around motivated individuals. This looks pretty close to the human factor, that is team empowerment. So all 4 are principles which supports a manifesto. At the same time, D, give focus on the motivated individuals. Pretty good. Everybody made the right choice. Appreciate it. Let's quickly see the Scrum factors. In this screen, you can see something about Scrum was born out in 1986, but in 1993 and 1995, it got a good shape. Some of them thought that Scrum would have happened 5 years, 6 years back, pretty trendy and latest one. The guys who did the Scrum, they are pretty old now. Means it all started years back. When you take a Scrum, Scrum was a thought process in the 1980s, 1990s to do how effectively we can do some work. In that effectiveness, they brought 3 pillars. If you can see the pillars here, one is transparency. This was highly lagging on those days, telling that what work has been committed, what work is happening. This thing was not visible for a while. Now, for which transparency is highly expected, right? Requires project aspects to be defined by a common standard. Now, when I say transparency, we can implement transparency in multiple ways. One is sharing the work, what actually we are doing, and what is the commitment we have. And the second transparency thought process is something called DOD, a definition of done. What is the definition of done? It is something between the performing organization, the team which is doing the work, and the customer who is going to get the results. Both of us agree to a common ground when your work will be called as completed. When your work will be called as completed, and that will be definition of that. Now, this is a good groundbreaking by their days because we know what is acceptance criteria, but we don't know when you call us a work is over. And for this reason, they need a good amount of transparency between both the party who is doing the work, the party who is going to receive the work, right? They both come to a common ground and they're very transparent. Hey, Shriram, if you do point number A, B, C, D, I will tell my work is over. The customer also agrees, well, you're done with the UI design, you're done with the database, you check in the code, you tested it, you move to test environment, and you say that it is ready. So at that point, I will call this as definition of done. And this can be monitored or this can be viewed by the customer also when the work is happening. So now this gives a good transparency of what work is needed. A transparency stands very tall in Scrum. And this transparency is also used in other areas. We'll see that as we move forward. Next, the two pillars talks about inspection and adaptation. Now, inspection and adaptation talks pretty much about how a team moves on. For inspection and adaptation, we have few methods, something like a sprint planning. If you heard about it, right? We have sprint planning. We have daily stand-up. We have sprint review. We have sprint retrospective. These four things supports inspection and adaptation. If you have a paper and pencil next to you, please write down the four things which supports inspection and adaptation is sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Have you heard these four terms regularly, which you do in your project? Okay, can you give me a done if you written down under the inspection adaptation?
Could you repeat again?
Okay, four things comes under inspection adaptation. Number one, sprint planning. Sprint planning. Second one, daily stand-up. Third one, sprint review. Fourth one, sprint retrospective. Was it good? Okay, great. So now these three are called as pillars to make your system to work. The Scrum is called as a process, a simplified process of project management. In fact, if you watch Scrum, it follows most of the project management mindset of planning till execution and completion in a small scale. A big project as a plan as a 6 months, this people will do only for 1 to 4 weeks of time, right? When we see three pillars, they give few points as values for a Scrum. What are the points of values, or they call as a core values or values? If you see, they'll talk about courage, focus, commitment, respect, openness. These are normal terminology words, which is telling that how good we can give value to the people who work with us and also output coming up. Usually the term starts with a commitment. There should be good commitment from the team when they do something, right? They should have a commitment. They should have a courage. Look at the word courage. This will be again used in XP also. Scrum teams members have courage to do the right thing and work on tough problems. You have to underline the word tough problems. They tell that Scrum is used for complicated project solutions, where they have to work with the courage to solve the problem with building the high risk items as early as possible. Keep the focus on the work, what you have to do. Focus on the work, sprint goals. We have something called sprint goals, which we set every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, and you target on the goal and you don't get deviated, right? You don't get driven away, right? Respect for people, each other, capable, independent people. If you see the respect, it goes back to knowledge workers' mindset. Imagine the year 1983 or 1993, they started talking this respect, telling that it's a knowledge workers' world. You don't see a subordinate here, rather you see as a peer person with you, and openness comes out. Now, even though this all looks a very normal statement, it all has a meaning and essence telling that respect the people in your team and also respect the customer who is giving some value to you. Now, the Scrum has those three pillars and a few points about the values. Now, we have to see how the Scrum is working, right? Gautam, I saw your hands up. Anything you want to bring up?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Is there any difference between an iteration or sprint?
Both are the same. In Agile books, they use a terminology called iteration, whereas in a Scrum methodology, they use a word called sprint. Both are same.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Repetitive, that's how it is. Okay. Okay, now that is Scrum Framework. We call it as a Scrum Framework. They don't call it as a Scrum methodology, rather call it as a framework. They say a framework which can do the implementation of a complicated and very massive size projects. That's how they give the terminology for it. If you read the books of it, you have to read the recent book released in 2017. which gives a little more refined way of certain things. These are the items involved in the Scrum. If you already used Scrum, well and good. If you're not used the first time you're listening, Scrum is a methodology under the umbrella of Agile, which always have that 4 manifesto, 12 principles in mind while doing this, right? I think you got the history that after Scrum only Agile came. So under the Agile, Scrum will look almost the same what we discussed in 4 and 12. If you look at the roles, there are few roles like important roles. We call as a Scrum team. A Scrum team will have product owner and you have a team. We call it as a development team and we have a Scrum master. When you say development team, this includes a technical folk. It could be the quality person. It could be an architect design person. For us, all are called development team. There is no differentiation between them. We should use the terminology development team, right? Ceremonies. If you look at the ceremonies, I mentioned that there is something called sprint planning. For 1 to 4 weeks of work, we make a plan. Sometimes we use a sprint mostly 2 weeks of time. If you learn from the books of a scaled agile, they're more focused on 2 weeks of sprint, not more than that, primarily to give efficiency. I'm also working in 2 weeks of sprint mostly. Let me see from the chat window. Do anybody have a different week time in here? Anybody work more than 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks? So how many of you work here, first of all, in Scrum methodology? Let me take the stats out of it. Anybody works in Scrum methodology here?
Yeah, yes.
I'm just looking at the chat window to see if anybody is there in Scrum. SAKPN says yes. How many weeks SAKPN your sprint? One,
Yeah,
two.
currently we have 2 weeks of sprint, but in previous company, some of the sprints we have 1 week of timeline also.
What you had in previous company?
1 week sprint also we have.
1 week you had, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good. But so very short, right? 1 week is so hard to handle.
Yeah, it's very short, but some of the prioritized items we need to deliver immediately on the time the sprint is going to be a week time and with less number of stories.
Okay. Pretty interesting. I remember once I went to, thanks SAKPN, once I went to oil and gas company where they want to understand about the project management for the PMP. So I went there to talk to their CEO and the director of the company. And there was one lady, she is the director. She asked me, Shriram, can you do 1 day sprint? Maybe that time I couldn't answer really well. I was thinking, yeah, we can do, but the quality will not be there. Because how do you plan it? At least you need some time to plan and some time to do the work. Since you're asking, we are a necessity of a 1 day sprint. It's an oil and gas company. I was so surprised why they need that. Maybe it was a little short for me. I found it so hard to do. Okay, very good. So from the chat, I can see only SAKPN is working in Scrum. So I assume that rest all are not having an idea. Okay.
I have worked, Shriram, Pradeepa here, currently not working, but my earlier project was Scrum, following Scrum.
Okay.
It was 2 weeks only, yeah.
2 weeks you did. Okay, good. 2 of them I got the answer now. Thanks, 2 of
and
them.
Shriram, one pointer here. We don't call it ceremonies anymore, right? It's an event. So can
It's called events. See, the terminology is being slightly shifting. But again, point is right. It's also called as event, right? And also if you watch out in artifacts now program product increment is one of the artifacts. See, artifacts we have product backlog, we have a sprint backlog, burned out charts. Also, we have something called product increment. How much of work completed? That also part of artifacts. It's all added. Now, what happened is when they written this sprint or Scrum related documents, now they are updated in 2017 and they have added certain terminology, certain words got changed. Okay, let's go to the ceremonies. What all they do here? They have a sprint planning, which happens, say, a few hours of time to work for 1 to 4 weeks of timeline, primarily 2 weeks of timeline, right? We make a planning. What we are going to do that, how we are going to do that. We have a sprint review. Sprint review talks about demonstration of the work. When the work gets completed in 2 weeks of timeline, we have to show a usable product to the customer. And the customer agrees on it, it goes to the production or usability. And there is something called sprint retrospective, which talks about what really went well within the team. What are the areas a team can improve on themselves? It's a kind of looking themselves, what is happening? What are the areas they can work out? Daily Scrum meeting, also we call as daily stand-up, right? But what they do here, they talk about what are the work happen, what are the work going to be done today, and any improvements or any blockers there, right? So primarily they use a three terminology. What we have done from the last meeting till now, what I'm going to do today, and what blockers are there. These are not new terminology. It's always there. Usually when I see the mason people, the contractors or cement working people, at least in my place where I was, I used to see the laborers who want to go for a work. They come and assemble there. The mason or contractor will come in the morning 8 o'clock and meet all these people and ask them which location or which construction area you worked. And each one will give certain terminology, terms. Listening to that, he will tell that kindly you people go to this place, and you go to this place. Or they themselves tell that today I'm going to work in this construction spot, that construction spot. They connect every day to see what's happening and what they have to do. They take a plan with them and then move to the work. Even though they know the long term of what need to be done, still every day they meet and do this. I have seen this in the construction spot regularly. Knowingly or unknowingly, they were doing daily stand-up in a sense because they don't have a technology with them. Also, they want to meet each other, and sometimes there'll be a top-down approach also. Now, the same process we are doing in this segment of information technology. We meet up every day. More than the technology, we connect with people. We talk to each other. Now, with technology improvement, what happened is we have people from different locality. They join together and attend the daily stand-up meeting, different timeline. To give a feel of it, I have to bring you a video of how this daily stand-up helps people, right? I know a couple of them have knowledge in Scrum, rest may not have. Let me just bring out that video which can help you. Daily stand-up. Okay, video coming up. Coming up. Make an observation what actually they do in a daily meeting, which can give you some clue.
It's stand-up time. Everybody good to go?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Ryoko. We're just getting started. I have you on speakerphone.
Oh, hello, everybody.
Hey, Ryoko.
Hi, Ryoko.
Hi, Ryoko. Okay. Who wants to start?
I don't like talking in public or at all, really.
Harold, please, the floor is yours.
Yesterday, I finished the source code for the recipe request voice interface, and I ran the unit test, so that's done. But these stand-ups are okay. You only have to answer 3 questions. What did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? And what is your main impediment? Today, I am working on passing the request parameters to the recipe search code. It's structured. It's fast. It's painless. My main impediment is still my lack of knowledge of the speech recognition engine. Ryoko is our expert, and she's been a wonderful help, but with the time difference, it's just challenging.
Okay, that's very good, Harold. But we need to resolve that. Ryoko?
Hi.
Can you send me your schedule? I will look into getting travel approval.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thanks, Ryoko. Why don't you go next?
Okay, sure. Today I review...
The daily stand-up is one of the team's most important rituals. In just 15 minutes, we see what everyone is up to. We update the iteration wall and see opportunities to help others remove blockers.
I said, Bill, in infrastructure. I said, Bill, it's not 1985 anymore. We don't do things like that now. I mean, we're already having issues with latency, and it's never going to stop.
Larry, the key is to be diligent about staying on track and to park any longer conversations until after the meeting. Larry, this sounds like an important issue, and I need to understand it better. Let's put it in the parking lot and drill down a little deeper right after the stand-up.
Good idea. Let's That's it for me then.
All right, Ciara, you are at bat.
Cool. Yesterday and today are the same. Fun and games with the recipe sorting algorithm. I'm in heuristic heaven. So far I've been faking the data feeds, but today I can plug into the new database. Do you have some time this morning to answer some questions about that for me?
Sure. 11:30, all right?
Great. In impediment land, I'm getting a lot of requests from Susan's team to sneak some new features into this iteration.
I'll talk to Susan and ask her to remind her team of the process. The feature request should go into the backlog. Okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay. Me next. Yesterday
I'm
I
not
met
a big
with
fan of meetings. I mean, I've got work to do. Just give me the requirements, sit me down in a corner, and let me go. That's the way I've always done things. But these stand-ups, they're fast and they're useful. They give us a good sense of what's happening with the rest of the team and where we need to change course and how we can help each other. They keep us nimble. Yeah.
Okay. I believe, does it give some idea what they do in stand-up? Let me listen to a couple of them here. Does it give a feel of what is happening in stand-up every day? So what they do here?
Daily work progress.
Okay. Progress. Okay. Somebody's asking a report, or are they talking to each other on their own?
They're having a discussion.
Discussion. Okay. Uh-huh.
It's a team synchronization.
Team synchronization. I think that's make better sentence.
And they come up with a daily strategy. They make a strategy for that day.
Okay. Makes sense. Strategy. Is there anything they try to help each other in any form?
Yeah, with respect to impediments.
Yes. Impediments. Okay, right language. Impediments. So now, why should I tell my impediment in front of all these people? What's the plan? Why should I tell him? I can solve it, right? What's the purpose? I have to tell this.
But if someone can assist you to remove those impediments.
Okay, did I hear somebody say transparency?
Yeah, I said transparency.
Why the word transparency comes here?
Yeah, the work done by each member should be transparently known to all. It should be discussed upfront. It's going to be a team focus. All the work. It may be an impediment or the development work that they do.
But look at here. We have a Kanban board. We have a Jira, MS project, Excel sheet. Anybody can see it, right? I don't need to come there and tell what I'm doing. Just for somebody has to see me work.
Development team will organize together and solve the impediments with the leadership of Scrum Master. Something like that.
Okay, fine, good. Hey, by the way, I'm just pulling each other to see what your brain is thinking. Okay, so give it a try. Don't stop yourself. Okay, Boone is saying that there is something in the fifth guiding principle. What is the fifth principle?
The fifth principle says that build projects and motivate individuals, give them the environmental support they need, and trust them to get the job done.
I'm sorry, your mic is not good. Go ahead, repeat again.
It's about motivating the individuals and give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done.
Okay, makes some sense there. Now, I'll go back to the point of transparency shared here. Thanks for sharing the point, transparency also. Yes, that's the right point. It shows what's happening in the team, right? There is no hidden formula here. And also, when you bring it to the table, chances are one more person can help you because you're working in a knowledge workers team. When you say knowledge workers team, each one is capable of giving answers and also give some kind of suggestions. They're possible to do that. We are not working in a hierarchy-based one, where architect will do only the architect work, designer will do only designer work, quality will do only the quality work. That hierarchy is not here. It's all cross-functional team. When you say cross-functional, they start working with each other as a knowledge area. And that's why they call us a development team altogether. So they're capable of doing cross-functional. So when you bring the transparency there, We are doing the inspect and adapt there. Did I mention that there are 4 things in inspect and adapt? One of them is a sprint planning. Other one is a daily stand-up. I mentioned it. And then I said a sprint, a retrospective, and sprint review. All are there. But this is the way you inspect yourself and adapt certain factors which you can improve. That's very important. So this daily stand-up, what you saw the video, is one of the good video to tell that how it happens. You saw that, right? One person says, I'm an introvert person. Did anybody observe it? Telling that I cannot speak with anybody very easily. Right? You would have observed it. Okay. One person mentioned that I'm introvert. I cannot speak with everyone very smoothly. Now, when you put the people in a big forum, they may not. But within the team, they get the comfort to talk. I remember the days where work is given to me. I used to sit with the work for nearly 3 weeks or 4 weeks of time. Nobody come and ask me. I don't need to go and talk to anybody. It will be the same place. After 5 weeks, even though I didn't do it properly, half of it done, I'll now go and meet to the team members and tell that, not team members, we call us managers those days, right? We go and talk to them, hey, you know what, this is what I'm doing, but it is not moving forward. Then they tell me, oh man, you should have asked a little early. I would have said this way, right? What you did is totally wrong. You have wasted 4 weeks of time. I sometimes feel, oh man, that's bad. I should not have done that. Rather waiting for 5 weeks or 4 weeks, now if you work every day together, chances are some of the problem get resolved, or if you can't even resolve, it will be parked in a backlog and we can take another item which you can do. I don't need to kill myself there. There could be some dependency, external dependency, right? There could be some technical blockers which don't allow me to do that. Or at least I am not aware of that. I'm not having knowledge. Nothing wrong in it. To tell that I don't have knowledge, that's fine. But I learn it. But with this time, I cannot do this work now. Let me give to the person who can do that. And this is how they work out as a team. And this made a good groundbreaking concept, telling that meeting every day and talking about what work is happening. And at the same time, what impediments is there made a big change in the way we look at the industry. And this is a place Scrum got super hit. The reason of daily meetup. And as rightly said here, we have some principles which is written some time back, which is derived from Scrum and XP. And that has a meaning of regular connection and trusting at the resources, right? Pretty good job. You did a good job now. What you do is you will take a break now. You all need your refreshment and some of you need a breakfast, right? Catch up the good break. Shall we go 10, 15, 20, how many minutes you want? Let's go for the voting here. How many minutes is good for you for having breakfast? Yesterday we went 20 minutes. 15 is good. Okay, majority coming with 15. Fine, decent number. Right, let's go with the 15 minutes break. We'll catch up after your break. Right, good. Enjoy your break. Now, whether you go with a Scrum or you go with other model, in Agile, the planning is slightly different. When I say slightly different, instead of doing a planning as a whole, we will do plan chunk, a small. Now that's going to help us to understand how we can deliver faster. So that's a message. So when you look at the board here, so we have a customer who is looking for an output. Customers are going to look for an output. The output can be one single output, which we can give at the end of the whole cycle of the project. Let's say whole cycle can be 6 months. 6 months. At the duration of a 6 months, something we're going to deliver as a whole can be that way, or we can give chunk of deliverables frequently. Right? We can give chunk of delivers frequently. Now, in order to deliver as a frequent cycle, we need a small chunk of plan. That could be a plan here, which covers 20% of the work on a whole project, what we have to complete. The next, we can go for another 20%, another 10%, another 30%. It goes on in order of a small size of planning and delivering. Now, the first question is why we should do like this. The primary reason why is we have to reach the market as early as possible. That is, when the size is smaller, the queue size is smaller, and the carry weightage is smaller, you can reach the market faster comparing to the big size. Because when it's a big size, it's going to have too much of variability, too much of changes and expectations. And if it fails as a whole. Rather, you're going to try a small piece of chunk moving forward, chances are success rate can be higher. So how can success can be higher? The chances are if something goes wrong in this particular one plan and one release, we can recover it faster. So on the next release, we can again track it out. Now, as the chunk will keep moving out, piece by piece, it can go faster.
Hi, Shriram.
Hey.
Just want to ask you this. You are talking about this Scrum in oil and gas industries.
Yep.
How can we implement in oil and gas? And how I want to propose this to my current organization. So how can we do it?
Okay. In oil and gas, I was in the segment called research and development area. Okay. So they have the oil and gas is happening in UAE. For that, they have a team in Bangalore. And these are the guys who are designing some of the architecture, some of the code area. Now, what happened is that the directors and CEO whom I met, they have a team of 200 people, and they're working on some design ideas. So they're trying to put a Kanban system, which is a pull methodology, where you take one item, complete it. Once it's over, go to the next item. That's how they do. And also, they want to bring something for some of the core team members who work on a regular deliverable process, where they will have a system in place. When it's a system, the oil and gas team will have a system to be followed. But this system will be continuously enhanced. New features will be added. A feature will go every 3 months, every 6 months, and be given to them. And for them, they want to do something in a sprint model where they can deliver it within a few weeks of time. That's where she was asking me, right? Okay, keep all this factor alone. Now, what you can pick up is you can pick up a way how your team can deliver. It doesn't mean always 2 weeks, right? You can go for 4 weeks of time or 6 weeks of timeline. But the mindset is how we collaborate as a team.
Right.
How do we regularly sync up with one another? It is not a sprint base always to be short. You can keep it 4 weeks. 4 weeks is a good time for 1 month. For a 1 month, you will plan at least 6 to 8 hours. Sometimes sit and plan what you're going to do for this 1 month. On this 1 month, every 2 days or every day, you meet to talk what's happening and you move forward. So that is a model you can propose.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for the insights. We'll talk later in this.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Definitely. Right, I believe everyone is back. You all had a good refreshment. At least now your face looks brighter after the food. Yeah, we need that. Okay, let's quickly move on some more factors to talk for the day. We have at least 1 hour. We'll talk a few more factors. Okay, Scrum factor is one of the methodology. But again, Shriram, how this is to be an exam? In the exam, they talk few topics and questions. They don't go too deep inside like that. Scrum certification. They want to understand, do you know Scrum? That's how they ask questions. Okay, there's a question here. There is a question which is not asked. If you observe that video, probably you have some idea. First of all, what is asked? In the meeting, we'll talk about what have you done since last meeting. Okay, what you are planning to do between now and next meeting. Very good. Is there any obstacles on the way? Fantastic, right? The B, check the product status from all the members of an Agile team. We don't do the checking process that happens here. In fact, I may not even go with the word what is asked. It should be something to be shared by the team. It's not somebody asking, right? They will share. So that's how it works. Good. I can see most of you and everyone made the right answer. Good efforts. I appreciate it. Let's move a little more. I just want to see a picture of how the Scrum would look like if you have seen this before. If not, also it's a good, easy learning, even though the picture looks a little complicated with a lot of information. If you watch it here, this is called backlog. Okay, a backlog is nothing but list of items to be completed. Item 1, item 2, item 3, something is there. From here, the team will pull it out to their backlog. I know somebody asked, a backlog means something not done work, right? Something we will not touch it. So, okay. The terminology backlog here is used to keep the list of items. What all we have to do. Product backlog is a collection of all the items to be done for the project, or at least for the timeline what we know. Whereas a sprint backlog will be taken by the team for the next 2 weeks or 4 weeks of timeline. What are we going to do? That will be here. And with this, team will start working. When I say team, the team includes the product owner, the Scrum Master, and development team. So Shriram, what is the size of the team? The size is, the recommendation from the Scrum is, have minimum at least 3 people, and it can go up to 9 people. Less than 3 may not be good. More than 9 is also not good. This is excluding the product owner and the Scrum Master. So if it is 3-member team, if I add these 2 people, it will become 5. For this, if I add, it will become 11. So a good size is 5 to 11 team members. Why not be above than that? Above than that, they tell that there is the dilution will be there. You will not get the grip of it. Below than that, we can't perform it. If less than 3 development team members, you may not be able to give the output what is expected. So this is a team size recommended, but nobody says a hard rule. Okay, you can have bigger also, because one team I worked around 17 people were there, but little hard. If the team size goes bigger, the handling will be tougher for us, right? So now they meet. You can see the timeline 1 to 4 weeks of timeline. Generally, I see 2 weeks happening generally, but if it's a big company, they sometimes go with the 4 weeks where they want to handle the work. And 24 hours once they meet for a daily stand-up, right? And sprint review is all about what actually completed in the 2 weeks of time. The output will be verified. Verified by whom? The PO. PO stands for product owner. The product owner knows what is the acceptance criteria. The product owner comes with the acceptance criteria and check, is it meeting what we want? If it is there, well and good. Take to the customer from there. So PO is a representative of the customer. So they will understand what customer wants. If PO is not capable, then you have trouble. For example, in Scaled Agile, there is a certification on POPM, Product Owner and Product Manager. There is a certificate. These certificates are learned by project managers and some of the Scrum Masters, some of the senior folks who learn it. Why? Because they want to play this role. This role is a powerful role. Why it's a powerful role is this person understands what the customer wants and also understands what the capability of the team. So you talk to the team and also you talk to the customer, both the side. So they get more powerful. Of late, I'm seeing more demand for this role of PO and PM, product owner and product manager. The point here is this team consists of capable of doing the work and delivering it. If they can't do it, that work will go back. In this 2 weeks of time, they picked up to do 2 items and they feel this item cannot be completed and it can go back to the backlog. And again, they reprioritize which can be done. Now, when I say they, I'm using the word they. It is because most of the time, the work is chosen by the team, rather somebody is giving to them. Nobody will come and tell you, hey, you do this work. Rather, they'll ask you, can you take on this? So they will pick up the work. But one thing is the product backlog, what we see here or what you see there, backlog. This is in control of product owner. The product owner, the customer representative, there is a customer here, and this guy is a representative for that. A customer representative has a rights to look out and prioritize items in the backlog. What do you mean by prioritization? We're going to see that in the next session. How to prioritize it? Which item should be first? Which should be second? Which should be third? How do we know that? Only when you know the pulse of the customer, you can prioritize it. How to prioritize? There is a method called Moscow methodology. You will learn in some time. But these methods are used to say which is important, which is unimportant at this point of time, right? So this role goes to the product owner. So product owner becomes powerful in that area. But when it comes to implementation, team becomes powerful because team knows what need to do. Okay, they do the sprint planning meeting, they do the daily scrum, sprint review. In sprint review, they do the inspect and adapt part with the product owner, and the result starts coming out. Now, when you give the results, after that, the work does not end there. What we do is we do the retrospective. Retrospective means looking ourselves how we are performing regularly. It's something like you started doing exercise. You will watch out the mirror to see how I'm looking. It's nothing but a retrospective. Am I getting body proper shape? Do I need to do more? Do I need to improve? Am I good? If it's a good, if you appreciation, yeah, I look good, right? It's a kind of a retrospective you do when you do exercise. When you do reading, you write a test and see retrospective. You write a simple test and see, am I scoring well? If you score well, it is good. If you don't score well, you do a review of that. It's a retrospective. The same way, team does the retrospective to understand, am I doing a good job? Do I need to improve? Right? That's what happened in the sprint process. And it's pretty interesting and famous part of retrospective, which is highly working. Yeah, it's working. Well, good. A little bit on this Scrum part. In fact, we're talking one methodology. We may cover a few more methodologies also. Again, I give one more image. You all should have received this PPT or PDF slide. You can go through this to get an idea of what all is here. So you have a product backlog, sprint planning meeting. It happens hardly these many hours, right? And it depends on the size of your sprint. And then sprint backlog is being team's work. This is the overall collection, and this is for that sprint. A sprint or iteration can be 1 to 4 weeks of time. On this week or this iteration, what I'm going to do, that will be listed down here, right? And the product owner and development team work together to do this. And then you go for a Scrum Master who will facilitate it, who will help you to move forward. And then you have something called done. Whenever you see a word done, it means we decided whenever this area, these checkpoints are crossed, we'll consider as a done, right? I'll talk more about done and I go there. There is something called definition of done. Then we do a review of what we have completed. Then we do a retrospective. Once this is done, again, the next sprint planning starts happening. Again, the sprint backlog will come. Again, the rotated, again, the done. So it will be a repetition of things. That's called iterative and incremental process. You do the same thing again and again and again. The same thing we do as a big project life cycle. Now that has been put into small size of 1 to 4 weeks of time. I don't see a big difference between the big cycle and small cycle. Only thing is retrospective happens regularly. Customer demonstration happens regularly. This is very, very, very important, these two things. Pretty good. I believe you got some idea, basic idea. Let's move a little more. Let's move a little more. Okay, there's a question. Retrospective, there is a structure. It's a tough question for you because retrospective is highly spoken up in the last chapter, but still let's give a try. Even if you're wrong, that's okay, give a try. Is not a valid one. So first of all, what is a valid one? You have a proper stage should be set to do the retrospective to understand what went right or wrong. You have to gather the data, what all happened. Yeah, makes sense, right? So look at the sentence now, read the sentence here. Good for the right answers. I can see right answers on the screen. Thanks for that. Now read the justification. Okay, I would ask you to take the paper and write down what all constitute a retrospective. Can you write these points only? Put the point number 1, set the stage. 2, gather data. 3, generate insights. 4, decide what to do. 5, close the retrospective, right? Can you quickly write down and give it done? This is for the retrospective. Okay, very good. Very good. Anyway, the retrospective is highly spoken up in the 7th domain, where they call about a continuous improvement. There is one domain in ACP, where they elaborately talk about the retrospective. For now, have this understanding what we do in retrospective. It's very, very, very important retrospective in project management. Okay, let's talk a little bit on the other stuff of Scrum of Scrum. So what you learn now is a small team of 3 to 9 members, right? 3 to 9 members a team size, you do a work. Imagine like this, more than one team going to work together, right? That's called a Scrum of Scrum. You can see the picture explains you, right? Team 1, team 2, team 3. Now every team will have a Scrum Masters, and this Scrum Master will all meet together. They call it as SOS, Scrum of Scrum. In Scrum of Scrum, they all have to sing together. Now the question is, why, first of all, I have to have this kind of team? Some of the projects does not end up with the 3 to 9 people. You may need to have more number of teams to work together. But I cannot have a team as a 50 people as a one team. Rather, we will have each module splitted, each functionality splitted. That will be different individual Scrum teams which has its own value to do the work. When you put individual teams, it does not work when you want to synchronize or when you want to integrate certain things on a own time basis. Rather, what we do is we bring something called a Scrum of Scrum, where you bring all these Scrum Masters together to talk about, hey, what's happening in your team? We want component A to be delivered, which needs a dependency from your component B. So they try to connect A and B at what timeline they integrate to one another. There'll be some connection, right? So they meet together. For example, if you take a car industry, a car component does not come from one team. It will come from multiple teams. There'll be a shell getting ready. There'll be a painting segment. There'll be an engine segment. There could be a tuning segment. All these people have to sync up. Then only a car will get ready. Now, how do you do that? Each team will be put together, and all team members don't need to come and talk to each other. They'll have a representative for the team that is going to be called as a Scrum Master, a facilitator who will drive the show, right? They make it happen. To do this effectively, there are a few methods in the market. One of the methods is LESS, Large Scale Scrum. It's very famous from 2005. They found that when you want to do a big level, you can use LESS, Large Scale Scrum. Then we have something called Disciplined Agile. That is also from PMI Institute, Disciplined Agile, which is pretty famous. But beyond that, one came in the 2011, which shaped the whole market. That is what SAFe, Scaled Agile Framework. If you're seeing the picture here, for this reason only, SAFe came inside. Whatever you're learning in an Agile is a common ground. You're learning what is Agile all about, how to interact with the people, how to deliver quality output. That's Agile. Now, when you want to scale it bigger, like what you see as a team of teams, the SAFe comes in. SAFe means Scaled Agile Framework. How you can scale something at a big level. What you see is only 3 teams, right? In SAFe, they talk 50 to 125 people at one program. 50 to 125 people is a very huge. How many teams? Lot of teams. Lot of teams has to work at one place. Now you can question me, why a lot of people has to work? There is a necessity. There are certain applications, there are technology. We have to implement as a team. You cannot just like that do by 5-6 people. So there is a necessity where to do that. For example, there is an election going to happen in the US. US election need number of people, right? Technology is involved, people is involved, but they have to work on a common goal. On a common goal, having all these concepts in mind, how do you work as a group? That which comes into kind of LESS or SAFe, Scaled Agile. They scale it at a big level. At the same time, they achieve the goal, right? For that, they do it. That's a different topic. I'll explain sometime later. For now, understand that scaling is one concept in PMI-ACP book. Good. Let's check some points here from you. Is an exercise here. The exercise is, there are certain things here given up. It says that, what are the roles, right? Who will do it? I may need your help here. Estimation. Estimation is done by a team or product owner or a Scrum Master in the Agile model.
Team.
Team. Okay. Backlog. Who will set the priorities for the backlog?
Product owner.
Very good. Coaching. Who will do coaching for the team?
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master.
Very good. Coordination of work. Who will do?
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master.
Sure.
A self-organized team. It's a team.
Development team.
Development team.
Okay, I'm giving 2 tick marks. Let's wait and see. DOD, definition after done.
Product owner.
Product owner.
No, development team.
Product owner.
Product owner.
Product owner.
Okay, I'm keeping doubt on this. I'm keeping doubt on this. Let's see. Okay. Process adherence. Who take care of process?
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master.
Scrum Master.
Okay, unanimous. Everybody said the same. Technical decisions. Who will take?
Development team and product owner.
Okay. I heard development team.
Development team.
And product owner.
I keep it out on this. Sprint planning.
Scrum Master.
Development.
Scrum Master and
Scrum Master.
Development team.
Scrum Master.
Okay. Okay. You all good with certain things. Here, estimation, you all went well. Team has to do that. Priorities, owners, you did that. Coaching, good. First 3, you all are perfectly happy with that. When it comes to coordination of work, slight doubt is there. This guy will become a project manager and coordinate the work, or it's a self-organizing thing they have to do on their own. There is a confusion here. You will see that. DOD. DOD stands for definition of done. Who will decide the definition of done? Is it somebody has the hierarchy has to decide? Or
no, as a team, the team will decide. The team, as a team, they come up.
Okay, there is still doubt on this area. Process adherence, everybody agreed. Okay, this guy is meant for it, facilitator. So your role is follow the process. Okay. Technical decisions. Now, technical decision, I heard two things here, team and PO. PO is still doubted, but anyway, let's see the answers because PO purely on the business side may not interfere into technical, but let's see. And sprint planning. When you say planning, it will be only the team has to do that, or it will be multiple roles can do that. By the way, it's not one answer, it can be multiple roles. Do you think sprint planning you should do only with the development team or only with Scrum Master?
You're right. It should be, and actually product owner will also be involved.
Everybody will be involved.
Now it's coming. Sometime after you have morning dosa, it will come up. Sorry. Okay, you need that dosa break. Okay, now let's see the answers. Check out the answers. Is it mapping for us? Good. First three are perfectly good. Fourth one, good. In fourth one, if you watch out, coordination of work. This is a mind-changing area where it's not about the Scrum Master driving it, rather team. Right? DOD.
Charging पे लगा दो और क्या करोगे?
Okay, somebody has to mute it. I'm getting your back.
वो अखियाँ देखोगे ना सामने लाल तार नहीं दिख रही?
Okay, thanks. Okay, now if you watch out the DOD definition of done. Definition of done is not only the team decides, right? Somebody said PO, yeah, that's right. Even Scrum Master will be part of it. As a whole, we decide what you mean by done for the work to be said over. Whole team has to do. Scrum team. By the way, whenever you see this, three people together, keep in mind it's called a Scrum team. Okay, if you want to note on the paper, the development team, product owner, Scrum Master, all three together is called Scrum team. Scrum team. Okay, team has to decide. When you say Scrum team, that's a team whole, DOD. Process adherence, definitely this guy goes into. Technical decisions, technical decisions, you can be a little clear on this part because it's purely team, right? Team has a knowledge of technology. We're talking about knowledge workers. When the knowledge workers, they design. Probably we may not play the role as a PO or a PMI. We cannot have a role in that place, right? That won't happen. Sprint planning. Now, you can rethink the way last sentence I said, it's a team, right? You all have to decide together. So together workers, two things are there. Sprint planning and other one is of DOD. Definition of done planning goes with the whole team. Hope it helps you understand a little bit. Okay, let's move. Thanks for the participation. Let's go to the second method. I know Sprint and Scrum and XP look a little bigger. The rest will be a little small methods. Let's talk about XP. The person whom you see like a cowboy, he looks like. His thought process behind is called XP. I highly respect this method because this is a groundbreaking method. Unfortunately, it is not highly spoken in the market, except Scaled Agile Framework. Now, SAFe came in, they started using XP extensively. But XP is one of the best, which made all what you're learning in methodology, what you're doing. Extreme programming came in the year 1993 in the company where compensation system, they used that in Chrysler company. Have you heard about this company, Chrysler? Chrysler, which has been acquired by some company recently or some years back. Benz. Benz took over. What's the parent company of Benz? Okay, let's Google and read it later. So this system, compensation system, for this, he introduced something called extreme programming. The word, the letter X and P taken from him. That's what it's called, X and P, extreme programming. There are a lot of good things here. Comes out, right? Now, when I say good things here, Ken Beck brought out a method to make the implementation smoother. Certain things he brought values, like what you see in Scrum, you have a transparency, inspection, adaptation, commitment, courage, focus, all that there, right? Same way, he has his own. Look at the timeline. Scrum was there in the year 1983, then 93, 95, got a shape. Same time, the same country, one more person working in the same model. See the brain thought process, how it is, right? In the same country, two people are working in a different way. But again, he brought out the same stuff called communication. This is your sixth principle in Agile, communication. You have to have a regular communication with the customer, with the developer. Simplicity. This is the 10th principle in Agile. Start with the simplest solution. Extra functionality can then be added later. Feedback system. This is the 12th principle, right? You take a feedback and try to improve yourself. This is also goes back to the review. We do sprint review, right? We do that. Courage. This is pretty new. You all will be surprised if you've not heard it before. You can see the word called pair programming. Pair programming. Somebody can ask me, so Shriram, only couple can work? No, that's not the meaning here. When I say pair programming, a task is given to two people. One task, two people. When they say two people, the quality may go high. That's a thought process of Ken Beck. It worked in some organization. Later, they try to reduce it because of expensive process. For one task, if you two people, what's the cost? Cost will go high. So, but still, the pair programming is highly appreciated. That they say that when two persons see the same problem, solutions can be better. And also to do that, you need a good courage. You have to show your work with the next peer sitting to you, right? You don't want to do that. You can realize it when you drive the car for the first time or the early days. When you drive the car and somebody sits next to you who knows how to drive the car really well, you understand how it will be. They'll start directing you. You get frustration. So certain things will happen, but courage comes out of a refactoring and working on a pair programming. Pair programming highly used for refactoring purpose. Respect. Respect for team members. This is there in SAFE, one of the principles. One of the principles says that respect for people and culture. In fact, everybody eat every piece of XP in their methodology. So XP is one of the best methodology or best concept implemented all over. And now many companies combine Scrum and XP. That's why in Scaled Agile Framework, they combine Scrum and XP because Scrum has a good process in place. Sprint planning, daily meetup, sprint review. That's a beautiful one. Now, this talks about how you can implement it, a proper communication, make the work simple, right? Proper review system and feedback system, have a good refactoring, respect for the people, what they do. And now what happens is if you put the process, if you put the implementation, both the two together, it becomes more powerful. That's what's happening in the market, right? That's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I would ask you to write down the 12 principles of Agile. When you write, you'll start seeing more connections, right? So there are certain roles in XP. Okay. Don't think it's a competitor for Scrum. Think it as one more method. Okay. If you see as a competitor, you cannot learn well. The other see it as a one more new method in the market in 1993. Roles, we call it as a customer, right? Customer is there. Can you map this with the Scrum? There is a role for customer there. What is the role?
Product owner.
All right. Okay. There is something for programmer. What is the role in Scrum?
Development team.
Development team.
Dev team. Okay. There is a role for coach there. What is that?
Scrum Master.
Almost there, right? The tracker is not there. Okay. It's optional. It's optional. It is preferred but not optional. Monitors the progress. This not highly got a hit, but there is a role here. Look at, I always surprise, right? Same country, same land, the same timeline of 5 to 10 years, two people are thinking the same way of working, right? So kind of way, but this pair programming is a concept like this, pair programming. When I talk pair programming in my office, all the junior kids are so happy. Pair programming, sir, who is my couple? I said, man, that's not the pair programming yet. Pair programming is having two people together work on one concept so that you get more ideas, faster work, and refactoring will be very high. But some of the companies are still implementing this who can accommodate that costing factor, right? Look at here, they keep working on, but needs a good amount of courage. They use the word courage. Seriously, man. How many of you are ready to show the work what you do? You definitely don't show, right? I remember some of the development team, when you go close to them, they minimize the screen. Then why are minimizing screen? Sir, I don't want you to see that. Then you will ask me some question, I can't answer you. I say, I'm not going to ask. I just came here to see. They say, no, we don't want to show. So we don't have that guts or we don't have that freedom to show. Right? We don't like somebody giving comment on us. But that's one important factor in this factor. By the way, anybody heard about pair programming before? At least somebody who.
Yeah, Shriram, I've heard, but in the context that one person is not up to the speed of the entire team, or he's new to the technology, there's a pair programming done to bridge that gap of technical skill, or that's my understanding.
But that's buddy, right? Buddy resource. We give somebody to help them.
Okay, but I don't know. Somehow this was my understanding. So
so the code review happens, like one person develops and the other person checks. And
code review is something we call pull request, right? We give to somebody and they check it out. For example, in my team, they do the work. I have to give the work to my customer friend. From customer, one technical guy will come and check is everything properly done. Now, anyway, both of you connecting close to the point. In pair programming, you both start at the same start line. You both start thinking in the direction what goal to be achieved. Not always both the eyes will see the same thing, right? I will see something, a friend will see something. Of course, my friend is going to be with me, right? When you do pair programming, but still I can counter argue with him. Hey, why do you do this way, man? Why not this way? That's going to help. Sometimes I've seen that in my, leave this pair programming, technology and I'll leave it. I'll see my mom, my aunt cooking together in the kitchen. That's a pair programming, okay? I've seen that. When my mom does individually, she's so happy, freedom to do a lot of work. Once my aunt comes in, just a minute, some trolley is going here. Okay, so now when my aunt comes in, she starts giving some inputs. Sometimes it works both really well, sometimes a total mess. I've seen that, right? When it works well, both do amazing job. The work completes faster, they come out of the kitchen early, and they say that we work together faster, done. Sometimes it becomes a mess, right? Sometimes they don't like to take the option. They say, no, I cannot take from her. Let me do on my own. Chances are there, happens. Who's putting their hands up? Somebody want to talk?
Yeah, yes, Shriram. In Verizon, some of the team they are using pair programming for R&D and development. Some of the things they are going to analyze which add-ons it's going to be better suitable for that one. On the time, 2 to 3 pair of teams going to be work on that one. They will come up the solution.
Right, yes, got it. Which organization you say?
Sorry.
Which organization you said?
Verizon.
You are in Verizon?
Previously, I worked around 1 year in Verizon.
Oh,
currently
okay.
Tech Mahindra, yeah.
Okay. I was there 12 years, man.
Okay. Yeah, I was Capgemini. After that, I moved into Verizon. Now I am Tech Mahindra.
Okay. My most portion of my life went in Verizon. Okay. Good to know that. Thanks for that. Let's move a little more. Okay. There is a big circle here. Now let's understand some factors. This is not to mention that everything to be followed, but let's understand a little factor here. Core practice. What they written here is 3 circles are here. Let's see a few words here which makes us to understand. In XP, they expect that refactoring is very important, which is highly recognized. What is refactoring? Simplify enhance the agility and understanding. Refactoring means you tune the functionality. The user interface or what the customer using will look the same, but behind the screen, you make it perform really well. It's something like your car. Your car, external body and condition looks almost same, but internally they'll put oil, they tune the engine to make it speed and good. That tuning process is called refactoring. In IT industry, it's very common. They keep refactoring again and again to improve the performance. That is a reason you never see your Google application or Google page going down, Gmail going down, Amazon.com going down. Even if Gmail does not work or Google.com does not work, you will not doubt Google. You will doubt your internet. You will switch off your Wi-Fi and switch on the Wi-Fi, or you will switch on your mobile net connection on and off, thinking your internet has a problem, not Google has a problem, because the trust is created on the Google that it will be available 24/7 any year timeline. Why? Because they keep doing refactoring. Refactoring is one of the best things to make sure the system works well. You cannot tell that once I put in the system, it will keep on working. It may not. You have to keep tuning, keep on doing it. Then only it will stay there in that place, right? So that's how the refactoring is very important. This is one of the reasons XP is very famous. That's the reason I quickly went to the one point which talks about refactoring, right? Which is not highly discussed in Scrum. Scrum talks about a process. They're very simple. They talk only process, but these guys talk about refactoring. Now, this goes back to the point number 9. Do you remember the point number 9 in 12 principles? What is the point number 9? Do you remember anybody? Principle number 9. If you see a sheet.
Continuous attention.
Continuous attention. Continuous attention.
Achieve excellence.
Right. If you want to do refactoring, that's a technical excellence. Also, your team should have technical knowledge. Only when you have a technical knowledge, excellence can happen. I worked in some of this kind of refactoring project. It's really, really tough. You can do a work from the scratch, that's fine. But if you take somebody's work already running and you want to tune it, it's crazy tough. Your team should be highly capable of doing that. I took this kind of project for 2 years. It's a nightmare. Because if you touch one wire, the next wire will start burn up. If you touch other wire, the whole system will stop. The problem in this segment is you should not stop anything. It will keep on running. While it is running, you have to tune it. It's pretty tough. I remember some of the example. I don't know whether you've seen this in the WhatsApp or LinkedIn or Facebook. Okay, there is a good mechanic, best mechanic in the industry, right? Car mechanic. One time he had a chance to do mechanic work for a doctor. And this doctor parked his car in the shed and he was waiting there for engine to be repaired. Now this guy has a question. Sir, I'm the best mechanic in the industry. I do a good job. But still, I'm not paid like what you are. And people always appreciate a doctor that you are a good surgeon. So what's a big deal? I'm doing the same thing for the car. You're doing the same thing for a human, right? So what's a big deal? So the doctor said that, yep, almost we are same. But you do one thing. When the engine is running, can you repair the engine? Then he said, no, that's a case for me. When the heartbeat is running, I have to do the heart surgery there. So that's a difference between you and me, where I have to do something when it is running live. If anything mistake, life stops there. But for you, you can stop the engine, start the engine, but I can't do that, right? That's something like that. I read something somewhere else about this, and this is the way that technicians like you work. What you work is something which is live, which is running. That's the reason you are highly paid. You cannot stop something and say that, let me stop, take a rest for 1 week, come on back and do it. No, we have to do it on a learning point. Whenever I see refactoring is very, very, very tough. You need a good number of knowledge, right? So that's one part. And what a simple design, maintain it. Okay, these are normal philosophies. Pair programming, which you saw just now. Collective ownership. Collective ownership is something like the whole team take responsibility of what work is happening. Rather, you're telling that it's mine, it's yours, right? Or you have a shared responsibility, right? And when you say shared responsibility, it's from the development team, but they have something for the whole team. Whole team sits together to better communication. They all arrange a seating arrangement. Now, do anybody understand in Agile, they keep the team sit in the same place? Have you ever witnessed it? Your company talks about Agile environment where they don't have a barriers, blockers, rooms. They keep it open space. Have anybody seen it?
Yes.
No? Seen it, somebody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we call it world-class engineering, where we sit together without any blocks and cubicles.
Hey, what do you call it as, Gautam? Please repeat again.
We called it world-class engineering, where we used to sit together, and frankly, we as employees used to call it dining table because we used to sit together.
But why you call it as world-class engineering? What is that world-class engineering?
I don't know. That must be the HR department's criteria to encourage us to stop sitting from cubicles and move to the dining tables itself.
I remember when I was in Verizon, they spent huge money, lakhs and crores of money to demolish all the cubicles and bring out an open environment. It will be like a share market. If you stand,
same.
You can see 400 people to one shot.
same happened in our company. They spent lots of money, broke all the cubicles, and put dining tables over there with internet connections, power supply backups, and everything.
Also, the dining table is can come up and go down.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I crossed that stage, so I don't feel that pain because if I was a developer, maybe I would have feel the pain. By the time those concepts came into the market, I have become a manager where most of the time I either don't sit in my seat or I'll be busy here and there moving. I don't prefer a seat to sit. My bag will be somewhere else. I don't know which floor I will be. Sometime I'll be in 7th floor, 8th floor, 6th floor. I will keep on moving. Hardly I'll sit in one place, right? So I don't feel the pain. But some of the core key team working there, they sometimes felt the pain. So they say there is no privacy. First of all, privacy. I said, why you need a privacy in corporate? And also they say that much of disturbance. When I look around, many people around us, I'm getting so distracted. So that's also a negative side. But that all of birthplace is this guy in 1993. Okay. So from here only it started. Whole team sits together for better communication. Here is a starting point. From here only all, whatever the crores of money invested these days, the starting point is this place. Mr. Ken Beck, this guy started. Okay. So anybody want to curse him, you can curse him. But sometimes it works, you know. We call it as osmotic communication. I'll talk that in a few chapters. When you put people together, they interact faster, the work goes faster. That's agreeable. But certain things are also there. I won't tell you no. Certain privacy stuff is there. Sometimes you lose a track of what you're doing. Somebody's phone conversation will come to you, right? So you tend to turn back and talk. You lose something. Chances are there. So both the sides, it's up to you. Sustainable pace. Do you remember this? Did you see this in your 12 principles? Can you see this number 12 principle? Go to 12 principle. Tell me where you see this sustainable pace. Please check and tell me number.
Number 6.
Number 6. So can you read out what they say?
Agile process promotes sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely.
Very good. Very good. Statement is big. Sometimes it don't show the essence of what they're trying to say. Let me put in a simple way. The book says that when you say sustainable pace, even though we have to work on a continuous process of 2 weeks or 5 weeks or 4 weeks of timeline, you should not break the back of the team which is working. In the name of continuous working, you should not excuse them. You should give a sustainable model where they can collaborate with the product owners and the team and work on a long run basis. What it means? You cannot put the people to work more than certain hours. See, I have to complete the work in 2 weeks. Doesn't mean I have to put my team to work on the weekends. I have to make my team to work more than 8 hours. If I do that, my planning is not correct. If I say 2 weeks, it's hardly 10 days. If I say 10 days per resource, is almost 80 hours. So 80 hours is a work time a resource can do effectively. But what people consider is, okay, let them work 12 hours or 10 hours per day, also on Saturday and Sunday, somehow the work will be done. So the planning is wrong. The planning what he made is wrong, right? So a sustainable basis, I'm not going to kill this team only for 2 weeks, right? I want this team to work a longevity, maybe another 1 year, 2 years. Only when you give the 80 hours and then give a gap of refreshing and coming back, they can listen, they can focus, they can do more work. And that's called sustainable pace. It's one of the interesting point I found in XP, which has been adopted into SAFe 12 principles. I love this principle. I strictly follow the team. If I see any of my resource work more than 12, 14 hours, I would tell it will hit your performance. Because you are setting a wrong example by doing this and everybody start following it. There is a crucial case, something production things happen. You cannot go out home today because things are going problem. Yes, fix it. It is something like a doctor. At night, 3 o'clock, doctor get a call. So there is a heart attack patient coming here. Can you please help? I will run to the hospital, fix it. That's fine. But don't make it as a habit. That's wrong. I have a couple of resources who sit always night 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, do the work. They may be single. They may be having not family commitment. Maybe another person who has a family commitment who has to do. There is a woman who she is conceived. She can't sit after certain hours. Can't sit in the chair itself properly. Now, do you do a performance analysis based on that? I'll say it's wrong. It's not a sustainable model. A sustainable model is have a proper timeline with you. If you don't have a timeline, it means you're not planned well. If your work is high, it's my mistake. I didn't plan well for your work. You can blame on me. That is why we do retrospective. In every retrospective, we'll talk about what went well, what doesn't go well. If time is going high, come back and talk to the team. Guys, I'm spending too much of time with my work. Something wrong. Either you guys are not working or I'm working too much. Tell me what is wrong. That's a sustainable model. How many of you agree here? Sometimes we do overwork than the number of hours what we thought. Anybody here?
Many times.
Many times?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree it's good or it's something to be improved?
It should be improved actually.
Improved, right? Okay,
yes.
That's this extreme programming goes to calling sustainable pace. Sustainable pace should be maintained. If not, you will break your back and you will start not liking the work what you do. This should not happen. Work should be pleasurable, happy, right? See, work should not be like a punishment. It should be happy environment. In that way, I like XP start process. In XP, they do a 1 week sprint or sometimes 2 week sprint. They make it happen. And that's how they work. In fact, first of all, the user story concept came from XP. After some time, you read XP, you'll understand that most of the agile things are from XP. But XP is not exposed properly. Scrum is highly exposed because Scrum has a beautiful process in place. XP has a beautiful concepts of implementation in place. Now, only combining two will do well. Scaled Agile framework happily combined two, they sold their product. Now it's selling amazingly great, right? Beautiful thing about PMI-ACP is it talks Scrum, it talks XP. Now I'm going to talk two more methods, Kanban and Lean. You will feel wow, because these are all the good methods in the market. For this method, I won't call it an IT industry method. If you look at this, it's not IT. Anybody can follow. Sustainable pace, anybody can do. Refactoring, whole team, simple design. I don't think it's for IT. Any team, anywhere in the world, anybody can do this, right? So that's a beautiful model this guy framed it. Right? That's a little on XP, but I will expect you to read the book again to get to some concepts. Let's take a question here. Prioritizing user stories. The moment you go to user stories, it's at the base level. It's going a little low. Okay, I'm seeing answers B, A, C. B, A, C. Why B, A, C? Belong to the combined effort of product owner in the team. A. Somebody saying C belongs to the product owner. I know. I say the PO is responsible for the prioritization, but when you say the user stories, now what will happen is user story means a team also be part of it. Let's say the justification. A is a correct choice. The responsibility for prioritizing the user story belongs to the joint effort, right? Now, Shriram, but you said PO will be responsible. They are responsible for the features. Oh, come on, man. You're confusing me now. Tell me a little more clear. If you ask me a little more clear, there is a project work here, okay? There is a set of work we called as epics at the higher level. Or sometimes we can use the word theme, right? From here, the next stage will become features. Features, a big piece of work. Under a feature, you will have user story 1, user story 2, user story 3. Feature, that could be feature number 1, feature number 2, feature number 3. It's a big piece of work, right? This big piece of work prioritization goes to whom? It goes to product owner. Because these features are the big piece of work which a customer is looking for. Credit card approval system is a feature. For a Citibank, credit card approval is a big feature. Shem, credit card approval, just one button click. For you, one button click. Behind the screen, there will be a lot of stuff, right? Credit card approval is a feature. Customer says, Citibank says, hey, next month, I want credit card approval to be online. COVID season happening, I want it online. No paperwork here. All should be PDF scanned copy, digital signed copy. Make it online. It's a feature. Now, like that, one more feature is given. The feature is a student loan. People are taking studies from US, Australia, approve students loan online. Now, feature 1, feature 2 is here. Now, which feature I have to go first? Credit card approval or a student loan? As a developer, I don't know. Now, product owner has a communication with the customer. Citibank says, loan is important, but this is not a season for the loan. People will not travel to other countries now. So do it as a second priority. First priority is credit card approval. People need money now. So let me put as a first priority. So the priority set can happen between the product owner and the customer. That's other features. Now we talk stories. If I take a credit card approval, under that, there can be 10 or 15 user stories. What is user story? We will learn in some time. Nothing but a small piece of work. A small piece of work which makes the feature active and alive, right? Now this user story prioritization can be done primarily by team along with the product owner. Team is very important. They decide what they can do, right? But feature should be completed in the next 2 sprints. That's a goal I have. But user story prioritization happens there. Did you got some idea now after seeing epics, features, user story, right? If you have a paper next to you, please note down. Please note down, write down epics, features, user story. If you are coming from the PMP world, can you tell me equivalent to this epic, feature, user story? Can you tell something for me? I know some of you from PMP world. What terminology you use there?
Charter.
Charter. No, charter is very beginning, right? This is a requirement. Talk about requirement. Something in a hierarchical form, pictorial form.
WBS.
WBS. That's what is here. Yeah, WBS. Now, in WBS, you don't have a user story concept. Hey, sorry, go ahead. Somebody say something.
No, Shriram, on this prioritization in Scrum, it's only with product owner, right?
Maybe your volume, I couldn't get you. Please repeat again.
No, in Scrum, this prioritization is primarily with product owner, no? In Scrum?
Prioritization in Scrum, not only, yeah, what we're talking is in Scrum only now. In prioritization of the features always sits with the product owner. Okay. When it comes to user stories, it's a combination of product owner plus user team. Right? That's a message. See, user stories, it'll be list of stories in the backlog. Now, product owner already would have put some list of needed items in an order. Now, team has a lot of things to decide what to take and what to do. Now, product owner has a say telling that these all can be important for the team to be delivered. Now, team can decide within them which user story can be delivered in iteration 1, which user story can be delivered in iteration 2, right? They will have rights on that to talk. But that's why you have to carefully watch out. The responsibility for prioritizing user story belongs to the joint effort. Here, nobody has a higher hand, but the team cannot tell overrule PO. PO cannot overrule team. It's a combined effort, right? Since PO is forcing something, team cannot do it. Team will tell that we don't have a technical capability now. If I don't have a technical capability, how will I do it? You have to wait for at least 1 iteration. The architect design should be done. Some dependency should be cleared up. So those are the things needed. That's why they give the rights to the team, that a team and PO decides. But the feature level, PO has all the things to tell that I want this feature to go in next 2 iterations. But the 2 iteration, which item to be done, that's up to the team and PO. Hope that makes sense. Good. Let's move a little more. Okay. Okay, I want to play a game here. There is a sample, there are certain things here. Under XP, I have mentioned few terminology here. I didn't talk all the terminology, but I spoke some of the key terminologies. Let me read the terminology on the left side. Tell me which is XP, which is a junk one. Okay. Sample design. Is it XP or junk?
Junk.
Okay. Small revisions.
Junk.
Okay. Courage.
XP.
XP.
Passion. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Execution game.
Junk.
XP.
XP.
Yes, execution game XP.
Okay, got two answers here. Make a guess, nothing wrong in it. Complexity.
Junk.
Refactoring.
XP.
XP. Remarketing.
Junk.
Simplicity.
XP.
XP. You all got it well. Architecture spoke.
XP. No, spike. It is actually spike, then the junk.
Man, we know spike, that we don't have spoke.
Yeah.
Be careful. Spoke is a junk. Iteration.
XP.
Sustainable pace.
XP.
Continuous interpretation.
Junk.
The human brain always read is continuous iteration. This is how you read. Then you'll understand, man, not iteration, interpretation. Right. So it's a junk. Okay, let's see. Some couple of things may be wrong. Let's see that also. Go ahead. Okay. What all things we went right first? Okay, first two we are right. Courage, we are right. And passion is not there. Passion is a philosophy. It's not here. Passion goes to junk. Execution game is a junk. Complexity is a junk. Refactoring. Let's see what all first of all XP. XP has courage. XP has refactoring. XP has simplicity. XP has iteration. XP has sustainable pace. I think we spoke about these are the key factors, right? I stressed much hard for you here. I stressed you very much here. I stressed you very much here. Okay. These are nothing but all are agile principles. Okay. Good amount. You spend a good amount of energy in the first two chapter or one chapter to understand the basics. Very good. What's the time now? We are coming to close of time. We will see Kanban alone and then we'll end for the day because I have a few more factors to cover. I know the first two chapters will take a long time because that's a basement. Once this basement is set, the rest of chapters goes pretty better, right? Let's quickly understand the Kanban process. Did I hear somebody here already done Kanban course or working in Kanban?
I'm working in Kanban process now.
Jyoti is working in Kanban. You worked on. Okay, very good. So what is the one line you will tell Jyoti when you say Kanban means what comes to your mind?
It's like we have backlogs in the list. We pick up whichever next in priority and we do that work. The time limit will be very less, like does take within a day, 2 days, or depends on the user story points.
Okay.
Kanban
It doesn't have a plan like 2 weeks or 3 weeks like Scrum. We just do for that day and next day we plan for that user story.
Right. Good. Thanks for sharing. Why I pull the Kanban is now I'm going to talk something called Lean. Now Lean and Kanban are brother and sisters. Okay. Now in Kanban, one line comes to your mind is something talking about no specific timing is given there, but something that is very important line if you catch up. They use something called pull methodology and they use something called WIP, work in process. Have you heard these terms?
Yeah, work in progress.
Good. If you got that, well and good. Now this has some relation with this Lean also. Now if you look at the Kanban, they will use something called WIP, work in process. The work in process will reduce the time wastage. What is the time wastage? If we have too many items in the line, chances are some item wait beyond the time limit to be achieving. So now what will happen is we have a WIP limit of 2 or WIP limit of 3. So which item can be performed will be the track. Rest all will be moved out. Now let me connect this with the origin of Lean management, right? Before I come to the Kanban part. Now Lean is a system is there for a very long time. The moment I say lean, your mind can tell that one word, which is called reducing the waste. Reducing the waste is the first thing in lean. It is there from 14th century. You can see that history of lean started from way back in 14th century, 1450. In the first paragraph, you can see that. So lean is there for a very long time because reducing wastage is a human nature, right? That's the reason you found the wheel. The wheel innovation happened because I cannot walk long distance, taking all my time and energy. Rather, if I go in a vehicle which can move faster, which can save some time. If you feel you are moving faster now, centuries back, we innovated the wheel, which made us to move faster. It started with a lean thought process, right? Reducing the wastage. Now, where the lean got big hit is, there is a person called Taichi Hono. I know the name looks pretty different, Japanese person. He had a good opportunity to travel to different places of the world and understand how the systems work. Once he understood the systems, he brought back that to Japan, primarily learning from Ford system of manufacturing, what they do. And he found certain things are getting repeated, which is killing time. And he brought out some concept called lean model. And that lean model says that how do you reduce the time so that you can reach faster. That's where the thing started, right? So what all they did, if you watch out here, in the last slide here, lean thinking, there is a box here, right? Lean thinking. The lean thinking talks of how to reduce the wastage. Look at here. Lean thinking is a process and it covers a lot of the agile methods, what we spoke now, Scrum, AXP, and we're also going to talk about Kanban. There is a book argument says that, first of all, lean is not agile. Lean is above than agile, which talks more about how to reduce the wastage. When you say how to reduce the wastage, there is a two people. There's Mary and Tom's, or they call Mary Poppending. And these two people came with an idea, what are the waste which can be avoided so that the work can move faster? In which they say that partially done work is a waste. This is where the WIP comes in. In work in process, you will take only three items and do it. The rest of the work will not be put inside. If you pull inside, it's a partially done work. A partially done work is a waste. So Kanban breathe through lean. Okay. Whatever extra processes you have in the system is a waste. Extra features is a waste. Now I'll go to XP. Simplicity. If you remember it, simplicity. Extra features are waste. Handoff or waste. Shriram, what is handoff? I do some of my work. I'll hand out to the quality team. Quality team will take 2 to 3 days of time. They complete it and again they hand over back to me to fix the issues. It's something like a front and back and kind of handing over the time. It's a waste. These are spoken years back. In software industry or IT industry, now they bring more automation. Not only IT, any industry automation. The automation is brought out to reduce this handoff time. Handoff time is moving from one place to another place, handing over, which can kill your time. That's the reason DevOps came into picture in IT. Development plus operations. It's an automation process, right? That's happening. You go any industry, automation is there. If you go to Amazon delivery system, they have great automation. Handoff time. They don't want to keeping handing off, kill your time, right? Delays. Whenever we talk about lean, we talk about delays. Delay in multiple places, holding of time. It's going to waste. Task switching. You do task A, jump to task B. Again, task A. You keep jumping, nothing will happen. Task switching is a key of a waste. It happens. Defects. When a system has an error, that's a waste. Shriram, error is a waste? Yes. Without error, a product should move. That's a Japanese principle. If you find an error, you have to fix the error. That will take your time. That will take your energy. That can spoil your system altogether, right? So these are the ways identified some years back by these two people. I would recommend highly to go back and read the books on Mike Griffith. This page is taken from Mike Griffith, right? And this is a 7 ways of lean. They talk about how it's going to help you to reduce the wastage. For this, there are certain calculations are there. I'll come back to you because we're hitting on the time. I'm going to give a little break here. But when you come back, I want to talk to you certain more principles. Yeah, I'll talk better next week. So point here is you have learned certain things this week. In this week, what all you touched is you started learning primarily what is Agile all about. Yep, yeah. You primarily learned what is Agile all about. In Agile, you touched with the 4 manifesto, 12 principles. Even though you did not get everything fully, but at least you got some idea. There is a 4 manifesto and 12 principles which can be used by any domain in the world. It doesn't not for IT. Customer satisfaction at the earliest time and giving open communication to the team. Team excellence is there. Reducing the work, what we do. These are some of the principles spoken of. How this principle came up, I gave a lot of history behind that. Scrum, 1980s, and XP, 1993. Kanban, or Agile, or Lean, which is from 14th century, or 1990. Everything's beyond 50 years, 100 years, 40 years. And from there, the essence came out. In umbrella, there are certain methods PMI-ACP is covering, where we learn a little bit about Scrum, what they do on a weekly basis. What is sprint planning? What is sprint retrospective? What is daily stand-up? What is sprint review, right? What is a development team? What is a product owner? What is a scrum master? We got a clue of it. Also, we saw certain things in XP, right? Their values, their roles, we saw that. Now we started seeing something in the lean and Kanban together, right? That's why we are stopping now. But again, fewer methods are to cover up. I mean, by learning this first chapter in the books, what you're going to get is, you're going to get an understanding of what do you mean by Agile. In Agile, what are the methods being followed? Once you understand this, now we'll start digging deep inside how the prioritization works, how we evaluate the product, how do we release the product early to the customer, how do you make your team to work in an Agile model, how do we evaluate ourselves and improve ourselves. So these are the concepts which I'm going to talk in future. And I see this is the only certificate in Agile market which talks all these methods. If not, every method is an individual certificate. Scrum is an individual certificate. Kanban is an individual certificate. Whereas these guys put everything together. That's how it works. Right. Was it a good learning over this weekend? Did you start with a good learning? Right. Hope I can see some of you before I say hi, bye for the week. Okay, I can see Mahendra. Good. Zuma is ready. Okay. Who is coming up? Okay, bright sunlight on you, Zuma. You're sitting opposite the window. Okay, Pratibha looks even bright in the late night, huh? Pratibha, you will go and sleep now, or are you going to watch some movie?
No, I'll sleep, Shriram.
I'm already slept while taking classes. Now only got up. Huh?
No, I was attentive.
I know. It's pretty tough early morning. I completely agree. It's not easy. I know. I understand the pain. But again, you know what? The morning or sometimes brain works better. Late in the night also works better. Middle of the day, sometimes brain doesn't work. You're engaged with the home activity, right? Sometimes you lose track of it. That's how it is. Okay, good to see you, Yashwant. Okay, good. Right. Good to see part of you people here. Good. Thanks for coming up today. What we did here in the last 2 days is we didn't go very deep. We made a base analysis. I took a bit longer time to set the track. I usually do this in any course. The first 1-2 weeks, what I do is I'll try to put as much basement possible because basement is very important. There is no point in rushing and completing a chapter without you don't understand the basement. So once you get the basement, what will happen is your brain will start processing faster. Even when you read the book without me, you get more understanding. That is the reason I'm putting a lot of energy on the first 2 weeks. And I do have some workshop to make you to implement a project. Next week, when you come, I will give a project. In this project, you have to implement the Agile model. You will be given a scenario situation along with the team. I'll split the team into 2. Your team will work on Agile model, how to make this project as a epics, user stories, how to divide into pieces, how to make a team. I want you to do that as a practical work. Let's learn as a practical also what you learn in the books. This is very important. For which next week I would expect you to start writing these principles, getting the flow of it. So when you come there, you will not feel as an alien. You will feel, Shriram, yes, I have seen somewhere, man. Let me try it out. That's a mentality I want from you. If you go in the same momentum, now we are in the first week. In 4 to 5 weeks of time, you will get a good grip of the subject. When you get the grip of the subject, every chapter, there is a 25 questions given in the book. I will ask you to consider answer it. You may be wrong, that's okay, answer it. When you answer it, note down in an Excel sheet. Shriram, first chapter, I got 65%. Second chapter, I got 45%. Just note it down. Let me see your scores. I will better know where are you. I can give you some tips where to improve. This way, we'll complete all 7 chapters. Once it is done, I will give you a full exam, 120 questions. You'll write a test, score 70% there. That's it. We're ready for the main exam. Let's start moving towards it. Sounds good? Okay. Any questions here I can help out on this Sunday? Or Pradeepa's Sunday? Pradeepa, Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday, Shri. So what is your, any assignments for this week? What should we do? Yeah.
I'll give activities. However, don't stop writing 4 manifesto 12 principles. Painful, but please do it. I will not tell you easy, it's painful. You may curse me while writing. All over the world, people cursing me for PMP and ACP. Right? They hold me to the bad. I know that. Many times I get to like sneezing, other problem because of this guys. Okay. So, but when they get the results, they tell that it works. Right. So it's painful, I agree, but don't stop writing because these 12 principles set in your brain really well. You may be from any domain, you will start using it. Right. That's important. By today or tomorrow, I will share some more images of a Scrum and XP. I will ask you to write those factors also, so you'll get the rhythm of it. Good. I like the way Pratibha shows early morning 12:30. What is assignment? That's a passion she has. Huh? Okay, pretty good. Thanks all for staying late and waking up early in the morning. And it's a kickstart. And thanks for spending your time today. All these videos are recorded. It's available. If you feel you missed somewhere, you might have went out and came back. So listen to this video, get the track of it. Books are shared with you. Start reading. There is a question WhatsApp group. Every day there is a question posted there. Please answer it. Read the justification. It's a good way of learning. ACP is not a tough exam, but the standard is slightly high than the Agile certifications in the market. There are a lot of Agile certifications. In that, the topest standard is ACP, right? Whereas it is not so tough. It is doable, possible. Thanks a lot for being here and have a good time on the Sunday, right? We'll catch up again by next Saturday with a few more topics.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Thank you.